Hello and welcome to episode 10,
10.
of Chewing the Fat with
Hi.
me, Phil Cobley.
And me, Adam Furman.
How are you today, Adam?
Yeah, very good. Not ill.
Not ill?
Not ill.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not going to catch anything from you this time.
And you didn't last time.
I didn't. Touch wood. I was okay. I managed to survive being in a small confined space with you without getting the lurgy.
Yeah, which is better than what I did with my son.
Yes. Yes, bless you. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Tired. It's been busy. It's been long kind of couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm all right.
Quick turnaround for pods.
It is. Yeah, we were only here. It feels like we were only here we were literally only here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but that episode seemed to go down really well. I think people enjoyed Alex.
They did. Well, I mean, say it well. Don't. They enjoyed our chat with Alex. Yeah. I don't want to go back onto that.
No, definitely not.
I still can't to this day believe that I kind of just said on that pod. It's like that we were going to suck him dry.
We didn't say it.
Well, no, I said it, and you refused to let us cut it. So, so I'm going to have to live with that.
Yeah, it's there for your enjoyment.
Yeah, that goes along with, I'm not having that on a t-shirt.
No.
I'm conscious of time, I'll keep that one, but not,
how are we? We're in double digits.
We are.
Yeah.
We are, episode 10. So yeah. Only 2 more of the season to go.
Yeah.
So series 2 will start after that, but we've got this one and 2 more, so it'll be 12 episodes for the season. So excited.
It is exciting.
Yeah. But hopefully we've got a nice pod for everyone today. Lights went on. That was new. Okay. Anyone who's only on the list, only on the audio, all the lights just went out. How weird.
Very strange.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. Maybe we won't take it as a sign that we need to leave. It's only the evening.
I quickly wondered if it was like sensor lighting in here, because that sometimes turns off at night, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
But no.
Well, never mind. Right. Yes. So episode 10. We have no guests.
No guests.
Well, no guest in terms of a person.
Yeah.
We have some kind of. We've got a guest of sorts, but it's a thing rather than.
Yeah. It's sort of you representing the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're the guest, really.
I'm the guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got to interview yourself as a guest.
I apologise now.
Yeah.
To everyone.
What do you think, Phil?
Yeah.
Let me just ask.
It'll feel like just me being back at home.
Yeah.
That's what lockdown did to me. That's it. So we've got a Formobile episode effectively. We had to talk about it at some point, didn't we?
Yeah.
To be fair, they are paying the bill.
Yeah, and there's been like was discussed on episode 2 of Heather. There's been some great work that's come out of Formobile. So
there has indeed, and we've got some more bits that we're going to be talking about in some of the final episodes of the season as well. Talking all about the Formobile tools and some of the tools course content, and which I've been directly involved with developing, and just trying to make people aware and let them know what's been going on and what is out there and freely available.
And if there's resources for people, they need to be aware.
Exactly. It's like our opportunity to now try and give something back. We've got had these fantastic guests who have all got these cool tools and all these awesome links and contributions and things, and now this is our opportunity to go, okay, here's some cool stuff. It's coming along. So it's probably I'm going to jinx it now. It's probably not going to be as lengthy as some of the previous episodes, which have kind of gone on a little bit, appreciated. But now I've said that, I'm going to end up rambling, aren't I?
Yes, guaranteed.
Yeah. You're going to have to stop me. You're going to have to wind me in, rein me in now and again. So
shall we start on industry news?
Let's start with industry news. That's a really good idea. What do we have on industry news? First item on the agenda, which you picked up on, was the Incidental Chewtoy has released yet another blog.
And once again, very, very thoroughly detailed.
Fantastically detailed, wasn't it?
So, about a locked secret calculator vault. So
it's like almost immediately after the previous one released in the end of January?
Yes, yeah.
like it's almost like a mirror, but it's gone that little bit further.
Yeah.
It's great. So yeah.
So yeah, we'll put the link out to that. Some great work being done. So yeah, and I think a lot of them are being added to the leads.
Yes, I think a lot of them are, which is fantastic. You know, that kind of community collaboration, as always.
Yeah.
So hence, we're always very happy to promote that kind of stuff and kind of mention it. So yeah. So well done to them. Thank you ever so much again for your contributions. Fantastic. And as you always say with these things, and I found myself kind of starting to quote you almost on these things, but it's really nice seeing the working, kind of being able to see that kind of like your maths homework from school, you know, being able to actually see all that working calculation and stuff.
Well, it allows people to take that and go away and show how, because in my opinion, the way it's done is the depth that if I was going to court to present evidence, I would have wanted to go to that depth.
Yes,
to fully understand how an application works.
Absolutely, yeah.
So even if it's showing people a good structure and a layout of how to tackle these and reverse engineer these apps, you know, kudos.
Yes,
Kudos.
Absolutely. So yes, fantastic, great start. Then there was a few bits that you've kind of pointed out. Which
from
great.
Joshua James, DFIR Science. And there's even more than what we're going to link out to here, but just a few that we chose. We're starting a new digital forensic investigation case in autopsy.
Love using autopsy.
So Josh is sharing how to start one, how to use, and it's an open source tool, so everyone can have a play with that at no cost.
Fantastic.
And then we're linking out to, because we feel it's important and community, Josh has started a DFIR community hardware fund.
Yes. I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah, so I think Briggs originally tweeted about this, which is where Joshua sort of ran with it. So they've started, I think it's on GitHub on a repo, where people can, because doing the testing requires kit and it's expensive. So people like Josh Hickman, got all these test devices, it all takes time and money. So the community has sort of got together and asking people if they want to continue to receive this sort of research, then just to help.
Would you mind contributing a little bit to the kit that needed for the research?
So
which everyone's going to benefit from.
Exactly. It's win-win.
Absolutely. So yeah, you're right. You can go to the GitHub page. We're going to have the links for both Joshua's post about it and information about it on DFIR Science, and also the GitHub repo link as well. You can actually choose to contribute to specific projects from within there. You can see the contributions, and basically whichever project gets funded first is the one that they then proceed with first. So
yeah, it's fully transparent.
Absolutely, great idea. Absolutely love it, and I will get around to putting something in there. I think, or at least I think maybe Chewing the Fat could try and we'll try our best to get something into there. So great initiative as always.
And if you haven't checked any of Joshua's videos, his voice is worth.
He does have one of those silky smooth voices.
He does,
kind of like it's. I mean, it's. I'm going to say it. It's quite sexy.
It is.
I'm a straight guy, but I listen to his voice, and even I'm like, okay, fine, good voice.
Yeah. I like your content. But perhaps if Joshua was listening, we could get a Chewing the Fat intro.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like intro guy. Yeah, it's all like those intro. Like, I think we need a Joshua James special intro just recorded for us. That's just kind of silky smooth. And just I mean, I did make the comment that you should do like some Audible stuff or like read books or something.
Could make a fortune.
Just got one of those voices. So. I'm not being weird, Joshua. I understand. I'm just being honest about it. You know.
So we're what 10 minutes into this, and we're already going down that hole. Should we move on to the next bit of industry?
Okay, fine. Yes, please. Let's move on. This is where we find that Joshua never listens to us ever again. He's like, those guys are weird. I'm going to stay away from them. Okay, and we never get invited to any conferences.
Yeah.
Right, next one, KAPE.
Yeah, huge. So they've basically released a post from Eric and Andrew, just detailing all of the updates that KAPE has had in Q4.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. We know how busy Andrew is, and you can just see it in that quarterly update. And huge congratulations to Andrew as well.
Yes, Andrew Aspern, congratulations. If anyone hasn't seen, I saw it on LinkedIn, but he's just got a promotion to Vice President of Kroll, apparently. So, yeah, well done. Congratulations.
Yeah,
kudos. Fantastic. Yeah.
Which, not surprising,
Not
with
really.
how hard that guy works.
The hours he puts in. And with everything else, family and small child and all that madness. I don't know how he does it, but yes, kudos to him. Yeah, kudos to him. Then next on the agenda, this is quite.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, want to play this correctly.
Yeah.
But it does seem that there has been a little bit of a spat that started recently, hasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
So I don't know if any of you have seen or heard, but there was a Forensic Focus article.
Yeah. I think it started on LinkedIn.
I think so. And then it was on Forensic Focus, which most things do. They all end up in Forensic Focus. Most of these releases and stuff. And it was Cellebrite saying that they're the pioneers industry first remote mobile device data collection solution.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Marketing piece. Out they go. And we recognise the UFED stuff and some of the premium bits. They're good tools.
Yeah.
And most people have them in their arsenal. So a little bit of marketing about this mobile device data collection solution, but then it seems to be proven controversial.
Yeah, Microsoft were not happy with that statement.
No, they weren't. They weren't. So Yuri Govanov is very active on social media, very active in promoting Microsoft and talking about these kind of things. And there was a very much dispute. He's very much disputed this claim.
He has,
and said that Microsoft were ahead. And he said his comment was, "I don't know if we were necessarily the first, but we definitely did this a couple of years ago."
Yeah, 2019, I think.
Yes, I did write it down, I think. So, so there was some comments on LinkedIn and also on the comments section of Forensic Focus for the article. So it does seem to have kind of caused some controversy.
It has,
yes. And it's a bit it's one of those things that, I don't like kind of stirring things and all that, but it's all out in public. It's all out in the public domain, isn't it? It's like, it's out there. And it was just a little bit, So what we've decided, we're just the messengers here. Don't shoot us. We're going to include a link to the Forensic Focus article, and also going to include the Microsoft link to their article. And you can make up your own minds.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the safest position to be in right now. But very interesting to see that that kind of little spat.
But yes, that allows us to remain Teflon coated.
Exactly. Yes, not going to get in the middle of that one at all. So moving swiftly on.
Yes.
So next one, I find this quite interesting because of NFTs.
Yes, which are everywhere in the news.
Exactly, they're all over the place. NFTs. I still don't really quite get them.
My brother messaged me asking what are NFTs because his son had been taught about it, and his son is second year in high school, so teenager sort of age. They are being taught about NFTs in high school.
Wow.
And apparently there's some site where you can create NFTs.
Oh, okay.
So I think my nephew is hoping he's going to be the next millionaire with his created NFT, which...
Yeah, it's like, it's because it's effectively like blockchain based kind of digital kind of authenticity type stuff over.
And there's been a lot of talk about a lot of content from gaming going to NFT as well, isn't there? I've seen in the news.
I need to get my head around it. I need to read it. But the article that was of interest was HMRC. So basically the revenue and customs for the UK. HMRC they've seized, as part of one of their investigations, they've done a news piece on it with the BBC, seizes NFT for the first time. So they've actually seized these digital assets as part of their investigation in a £1.5 million fraud case.
Yeah.
So not the hugest of sums when it comes to in kind of when you look at some of the work that they do and the kind of money's involved. But yeah, in fact, they've actually seized NFTs.
Yeah, and they're the first UK law enforcement body to seize it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I don't know if anyone else has. I don't know if any other authorities have. Be interested to hear. So if anyone knows of any, then that'd be really cool. But yeah, I just thought that was really quite fascinating.
That is quirky.
They are ahead of the game.
Yeah.
HMRC, they're putting the investment in, and they are becoming very digitally savvy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, they've done a lot of digital forensics training recently.
Yeah.
So, but across lots of people. So fantastic. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. That article. Next one, bulk extractor. I'm pretty sure anyone who's used digital forensics tools for the last however long has at some point used bulk extractor or kind of had it in your toolkit, or you've heard about it at the very least. If you haven't, go check it out. So it's a open source, freely available tool. You can go and download. Simpson Garfinkel. It's got a repo on GitHub.
Yeah.
You can go along. It's just released version 2.0.0.
Yeah.
And I think it's been sat on 1.5 for a long time.
Yeah.
So you've got the command line version and the GUI versions. There's the BE viewer, the bulk extractor viewer. So the release that you just put out, you need people to help test it. And provide feedback and various other bits and pieces. So I would fully encourage people to go and have a look, go check it out, go and download some of the source material. I don't think he's put it into an install package or executable package. I think it's still just as raw source.
Yes, it is.
So it needs to be compiled and things. But I think a lot of the files you can just drop into and replace the 1.5 files.
Yes.
And then it will work with 2.0. So go check that out. Give Simpson a hand and help out and contribute because that looks really quite cool.
Yeah.
It's a great tool. Bulk Extractor is brilliant, and apparently the new release has added loads of stuff to it. So
and it's open source.
And it's open source.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, check the link out for the links for the in the description for that one. Next one. Oh, we got a lot of news this month.
There is
a lot of news. This one. This was just purely out of. I just found this one quite an interesting little read, actually.
Well, I certainly learned about. Yeah, I certainly learned about it at university years ago.
Yes,
you probably did as well.
I did indeed.
So you understand the need and the requirement for it. But it just doesn't seem to have been deployed.
That's it. So you always see references to IP version 6, and there are some places that use it, but most don't. Everything pretty much falls back to IP4. And someone's done a blog and done some testing and stuff, and identified a number of like very, very big sites.
I was surprised.
Places like Reddit and Hacker News and Twitter and GitHub that are not IP6 ready. They just don't work. So I found that very, very interesting. So go and have that a little bit of read. It goes into a bit of detail. And actually some of it I was kind of like, well, I'm not really a network engineer, so some of it I was like, oh, okay.
Over.
Go check that one out. That was quite interesting. 25 years old IP version 6, I think.
That's quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah, 25 years old and it's still not widely deployed.
No.
Or whether it's deployed, configured and set up properly. That's probably a better way of putting it. But have a check of that one out. The next one, as you know, I'm a Linux groupie, so I'm always kind of keeping tabs on like ITSFOSS and all those kind of open source and kind of news outlets and things like that. And they did an article on Internxt or Internxt, or however you want to pronounce it, which is based kind of open source cloud service based, I think in Spain or France or something like that, somewhere in Europe. In mainland Europe. It got a completely decentralized Web3 ready, secure, encrypted cloud environment that is entirely open source. which I was like, that's.
It's interesting how they transfer the data, isn't it?
It is. So no single, because it's so decentralized with Web3 elements and things. So everything's encrypted at source before it's sent up to cloud.
Yeah.
And it's broken into shards, and no single file is held on a single server at any given time. So the servers that are distributed, it's a decentralized approach. They all hold individual shards that are all encrypted of every single file.
Good luck, law enforcement.
Yeah, so I made a note here. Like, imagine the implications for forensics. If people started using that. That's definitely a live acquisition job. That one.
Yeah,
that's not. Can you imagine trying to work that one out?
Trying to rebuild it.
And apparently, if the keys are all stored locally, as far as I'm aware. If you lose those, nothing is stored by the service provider, so it's literally files done. So check that one out. If you're into your security and cloud security, then it might be worth having a look. It's still being developed. It's still relatively early stages, so there are lots of things they've said is coming, or things that are coming, but they're not there yet. Next one, you're the Mac boy among us.
Yeah, so Apple reportedly going to be releasing an M2 chip with 4 new Macs this year.
Yes, so the M2 chip that's been, because they're obviously trying to get away from Intel, the reliance on Intel silicon, and so they've kind of got their M1 chips already. They've got the M2 chips coming out, and they're apparently going to be going into the reportedly, not confirmed, but reportedly going to go into the 13-inch MacBook Pros, Mac Mini, 24-inch iMac, and a redesigned MacBook Air. Apparently.
Yeah, that'll probably take you down to 1 USB-C port. That's the redesign.
No, or you have to pay extra for the USB-C.
Yeah. Oh yeah, optional extra.
Yeah, everything else is done remotely and wirelessly.
Yeah. Why do you want a port?
Why do you want a port?
Yeah. And I like the bottom part of what you linked to, the iOS 15.4, and which I can confirm because I'm running that on one of my test devices.
Yeah.
It does come with face mask friendly Face ID, and it's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
But to be honest, we don't in the UK tomorrow. So we're recording this Wednesday, the 23rd of February. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, COVID in the UK is no more.
Yeah, the government have stopped pretty much everything.
Yeah, so no face masks are required. Personally, I will still use them in confined spaces.
Exactly, yeah. There's no isolation anymore if you're vaccinated.
But Apple have released this update for face masks.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, can't read the market.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, when you're using it, it now tells you to make sure that you look down.
Oh, right.
So I'm thinking it does it on your eyes.
Well, it must be, because otherwise everything is covered up, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's what it says. It tells you to focus with your eyes and look down. So
Okay. It does scare me just how good their AI engine is, the kind of the facial recognition stuff, and like the photos and stuff.
Yeah, it even records the actual position within the photo, so it gives you from the photos SQLite. You can pull out the X and Y coordinates of where they've identified the person. So yeah, scary stuff.
Yeah, terrifying stuff. Yeah. We had that previous discussion about SQLite, photos at SQLite.
It's a beast.
It's a beast. Getting bigger.
But there is, and we haven't linked to this, but I've seen it on the Discord channel that, and I can't remember the user's name, but they have released a GitHub repo of queries for that database.
Okay.
So I will, before we publish, I'll try and dig out and I'll put a link to it because there's some brilliant queries in there.
I think I saw something about that actually.
Yeah.
Now you mention it.
And it's for iOS, I think back to 13, 14 and 15. So
yeah. I don't think I saw it on Discord. I think I saw it on Twitter.
Maybe it's Twitter.
I can't remember.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Discord.
Yeah. But yes, I know what you mean. So if you get that, that'd be brilliant. Awesome. Right then, Next one was more just
because it's cool.
It was quite cool.
Yeah.
Not really. I've kind of shoehorned it into forensic.
Yeah, I like this, so it's going in.
Shoehorned it in. But there was an article that was kind of like linked to IEEE, so the electronics people, kind of the standards people, all that. So they've done an article on satellite imagery for everyone, which, bearing in mind that most of the time we default to Google Maps or something like that, and Google Earth and things like that. I didn't know. I after reading this article, I didn't realise that there's actually a number of different open sources that you can go to for these satellite images, all over the globe. Very, very up to date. Done, they've got open hubs and stuff, so you can effectively just download stuff and view stuff and whatever, and zoom in and zoom out. And all the lower resolution ones are freely accessible, which is essentially your Google Maps kind of level of capability. But you can actually pay extra, and you can go down to the point of I think it's like 1 pixel representing 25 centimeters square, which is effectively like a laptop. 1 pixel representing that, and you can zoom into that level of resolution. Crazy on these things. I'm like, what? Yeah. But the way I shoehorned it, as you see, was I started kind of questioning. It's like, oh, imagine the possibilities for law enforcement if you needed to have that level of resolution. So I included it anyway. I just thought it was interesting.
It's almost getting to the great film Enemy of the State.
Oh, that's an old film.
It is an old film.
That's a very old film. Yeah. That must be 90s?
Yeah, it must be. It must be.
Yeah.
But then I am feeling old today because one of our colleagues referred to me as knowing about the 70s.
Yeah. I don't think he's quite grasped the concept of age.
Millennials.
Yeah. Bless him.
And his other comment was the best, wasn't it? We were talking about an old episode that we'd done, and he piped up and said, "Oh, actually, let's listen to that one."
It's like, what? That one?
Yeah. Thanks for doing us a favour.
Cheers. I'm not gonna say his name, but
yeah,
that was quite. He didn't realise what he'd said, did he?
No. He did try and backtrack.
But
the damage was done.
Yeah.
Next time he's not looking, I'm peeling our laptop sticker off his laptop.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve it.
No, he doesn't.
No, not for that. Not for that. Where were we? It's your turn to go on a tangent now.
It is. Well, we can when we talk about the next article, because we'll talk about Bluey again.
Oh, yeah. You go for it. You do it.
So thankfully, we weren't stung by Josh Hickman.
He was very kind to us.
He was very kind. And he actually gave us the heads up this time. And he also tried to coerce Phil into watching Bluey.
He did.
Very good.
Yes. I haven't. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't have children.
You don't need children. But yeah, so Josh has released part 2 of the state of Android health data.
He has.
And this is doctorate level stuff. It really is.
It's detailed.
Yeah.
And comprehensive and very well written.
Yeah.
As always. So, I don't want to harp on too much because we seem to quite a lot. And I also love, I know you just brought that up, I love the little red panda gif. The kind of, I love it. It's brilliant.
On the gymnast rings,
Yeah. It's adorable.
Yeah.
It's really, really cute.
Yeah. I do like the gifs that Josh chooses.
It's always very apt. Always very apt. But another fantastic article by him.
But again, I look at the data and Josh, how are you getting the time to go on these runs and write these articles as well as run your household and family and work for Crop?
How? I know. And his split times are really good.
Yeah, they are.
He's clearly in good shape.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not jealous at all.
No, not at all. And we'll move on to the next article, which is also your favourite OS. And what is it saying about your favourite OS?
I know. So, hackers exploiting infected Android devices to register disposable accounts.
Oh.
it's basically an article which I picked up from the Hacker News, so you might have seen it already, but we'll put a link to it. But yeah, I was just reading it. It's kind of highlighting some of the flaws and problems with SMS verification, which is fair enough because it is a flawed system.
But it's still so commonly used.
Very commonly used, yes. If you haven't yet, if you've got the option to move over to an authenticator app, at the very least, just do that. But yeah, there's so many places that use SMS verification, and it's been broken for a long time. But the article's really, really good in explaining why and how fraudsters and hackers and stuff are exploiting the system. So it's a good, interesting read. So I would encourage people to have a look at that one. Then another Hacker News article, the next two are actually Hacker News articles I found that I thought were quite cool. You've seen this one as well, haven't you? So redacted documents. So kind of obviously we do it a lot in legal profession, in policing, in law enforcement. Have to redact a lot of documents, and there's a tool, and we'll put a link out to the GitHub repo for it as well. There's a tool that can brute force pixelated redacted text
and bring it back to life.
And it's just out there and it's freely available. The advice is if you're redacting text, don't pixelate it.
Solid block
the whole lot out. But yeah, there's on the actual article, there's some looping GIFs that kind of show some of the kind of calculations going on with this. It's really clever.
It is.
Yeah, I wish I was as clever as some of these people.
When I read the article, it made me think, how much have I redacted using pixelation?
Yeah. I think, I know that my old force, they've kind of moved over to, I think they're doing a lot of Adobe stuff, doing their redacting thing. And I know that on their redaction stuff, they actually do solid blocks redaction, which is absolutely fine. But I know what you mean. It's kind of like, oh.
You only know what you know at the time.
I don't know. I mean, imagine if there's any like publicly released documentation that's open to the public now that has been redacted, but someone has redacted it historically using some pixelation. That could all now theoretically be broken.
We would be able to find out that there's aliens and things like that.
Oh, don't you start. Next you'll be telling me that the Earth is flat. I don't want to get onto that kind of thing. We'll start making enemies. There'll be some people listening who are kind of so you never know. We've got to stay neutral in these things.
We have Teflon.
Yeah, we've got to stay neutral wherever we are around the globe. So then moving swiftly on from that one. Oh, it's called Unredactor.
Yeah.
Quite
that's
to the point.
What it says on the tin.
I like it. The last article that we're talking about was Google bringing Privacy Sandbox to Android to limit sharing of user data. Which I think many people probably knew that was already in the process of happening. But they've already done a lot in terms of restricting or blocking third-party cookies. And the Privacy Sandbox, it's kind of similar to some of the stuff that Apple have been doing already with some of their bits, but I think they're looking at, I think with the Apple ones now, before an app does anything, and you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but isn't it that the user gets explicitly asked whether or not they approve for the privacy stuff and all the cookies and whatever.
And I think Google sort of counteracted Apple saying that they're in discussions with developers to introduce this rather than just Apple forcing it.
So Apple just went, there you go, as they always do. It's just like, we've changed everything and you've got to live with it. Whereas Google have kind of
trying to work with the developers.
And also respecting the fact that they actually, if they bring this in too heavily, then it's actually going to have massive revenue implications for advertising, for social media. I'm not going to lose any sleep over the fact that Meta said that they would lose like 22 million or billion or something in annual revenue.
They probably lose that behind the sofa now.
My heart bleeds.
Yeah.
But just don't try and make your money off of nefarious kind of underhanded kind of tracking. But anyway, so that's quite an interesting read actually. So if you're interested in like privacy and all that kind of advertising kind of links and ties and all that kind of stuff that happens in the back end of some of these apps, then go and have a little bit of a read of that one. It's an interesting one.
A lot of news.
That was
there was, just make people aware that the last episode contained a lot of links.
Yes.
And I think on YouTube they were all included from the show notes.
Yes.
But I think when I uploaded the audio side, there was a maximum text allowance. So some of them weren't included. So if you tried to find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., and you couldn't, please go to the YouTube channel, and that will always have the full links.
Cool.
Because I'm predicting this might be the same.
It might well be the same. I mean, that had a lot of text on it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should use some use some of the Bitly links or something, or the Twitter URLs or something. We should probably convert them all. Maybe that might be a good idea. But more effort. But there we go. Right. Yes. Wow, that was a long news section.
It was.
But I'm okay with it.
Should we bring in our special guest?
our non-existent fake special guest. Yes. Okay. Fine. Let's cut to it anyway, and we'll see what happens. Okay.
And we're back. And we've pressed record again.
Yes, and you've got
So we've got our special guest in. We've got Phil from
Ta-da!
representing Formobile. So what, for listeners and viewers who haven't been out to the Formobile website or aware of it, what is Formobile?
That, my friend, is a very good question. I've been asking myself this as well. What exactly is Formobile? It's quite complicated. So Formobile, I don't know if anyone has had a look at it, then fantastic. I really encourage everyone to go and check it out. If you haven't, then we will include the link to the Formobile website. But it's effectively been a European funded project. They've actually funded this show as well, the initial parts of it, from supporting the community, kind of working with industry and the community and so on. But it's effectively a European project that started around 3 years ago for mobile forensics specifically, and to try and bring into effect tools and standards for mobile forensics for law enforcement, to support law enforcement from crime scene to court. Yeah, that's essentially it. So there's I think something like 8 or 9 work packages as part of the project as a whole. I might be wrong, there might be more, I can't remember off the top of my head. But the siren's going in the background. But I've worked on a number of the work packages. Some of them have been around developing tools, some of them have been around developing training, like I say, some of them have been around standards and all that kind of thing. So we've talked about some of it before. We're talking about kind of like was it the 6 steps?
Yes.
In
episode 2 of Heather, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly. So that kind of work has been kind of partially incorporated into Formobile. There's been a huge amount of work on the standard side, which I think we're going to be talking about either next episode or the episode after, because it's due for release very, very soon. Around mobile standards and
and the best part is it's free.
It's going to be free
because Formobile has funded it.
Absolutely. So it's going to be essentially like an ISO standard, but specifically developed for mobile forensics. And the idea is that it's going to become, or they would like it to become, an international standard. And there's all sorts of things included in it. It's really, really quite comprehensive. So that's been really fascinating and fun to work on. The majority of the stuff that I've been doing has been in training. No surprise there.
Yeah.
It's like my day job. yeah, so I've been supporting the consortium directly as part of what's Work Package 7 is the training work package. And the idea is that we were to develop a novel and new curriculum for digital forensics for people to kind of go from zero to hero kind of thing, from different backgrounds and for different specialisms within the industry. And when I say that, I mean including things like prosecutors, kind of legal representatives.
Everyone who has to deal with...
Exactly, people who are in the courtrum, people who are doing the examinations, people who are managing people who do forensics and things like that. So there's lots of different branches to it. And I'll remind myself on my screen and cheat. With the training, we had effectively 4 different levels and layers of the training. So it's starts off at kind of no experience required, no prerequisites, nothing at all, other than you need to be in law enforcement and you need to. I think some of it's actually open to the likes of academia and kind of non-law enforcement, and a lot of the work that some of your colleagues, my previous colleagues with MSAB have kind of helped with some of that in looking at the confidentiality side of things and what can and cannot be released publicly and what needs to be kept with law enforcement, which is understandable.
Yeah, of course.
So there's 4 different levels of the training, and I think, if I remember rightly, I think all of the initial entry-level stuff is almost entirely available to everyone. There's certain sections of it which are going to be made confidential, but most of it's going to be absolutely fine. And then as you go up through, the idea is that you can progress through the whole curriculum, so you can actually complete some of the initial training. We've got 4 courses on the initial: Mobile Forensics Fundamentals and Best Practices, which is entirely online, self-paced, no face-to-face or live training. You can do it at your own pace. There's the Mobile Forensics for Prosecution and Judges, which has
been missing for years.
Yeah, it has been. Yes. I must admit, I haven't seen that one myself. That was written by some of the guys over in Forth, I believe. So so they were based over in Greece. They actually wrote some of that one. And Mobile Forensics for Management. Again, really useful. And it's more of an awareness thing, so people can understand how to best support and manage their staff doing forensics. And then there's Mobile Forensics using 4 mobile tools. So as I say, some of the work packages revolve around building tools. So whether it's hardware or software-based tools to support law enforcement. The idea is that those tools are freely available, which is great. They were very ambitious. Some of them haven't quite worked out kind of as maybe we're hoping or expecting, but there has been some really great developments in there. So a lot of my work was, I was actually asked partway through the project, even though it wasn't originally what I was meant to be doing, I was asked if I wouldn't mind helping out build the tools course, essentially, which again is entirely online. It utilises various software simulations that I've put together and built, and kind of where we've kind of introduced hardware and things like that. It includes a number of videos and references and demonstrates how stuff works and that kind of thing. So it's trying to make it interesting, interactive, look nice, kind of be quite fun to kind of go through. And there's like sample files, there's software you can download, there's links, or exercises.
So everything they need.
Everything they need. There is a one of the things that I helped them set up was a Formobile learning management system, which is now up and running, and I don't know who you necessarily need to speak to at this stage to get access, because it's currently going through a pilot program. So there's the idea is that a number of people are going to be trained in how to be a trainer for the classroom-based stuff. There's a capture the flag set up for like a kind of war games kind of scenario-y type thing. So that's all been built and set up, and that's part of the training. So the trainers who are going to be doing the first pilot side of things, they're currently going or have been going through the CTF program. I know there's a number of people who listen to the show who love the CTFs. again, I haven't sat through it myself personally, but I have seen the site and kind of I've seen a lot of things that they've put together for it. So it's quite cool, and it covers a lot of the information taught in the entry-level course content.
Yeah.
So you complete the entry-level course content of all of those courses, you'll be able to answer all the questions and kind of complete some of the exercises.
So it gives you the building blocks to get there.
Exactly. So, and obviously, as always, it's interactive. You get sample files, you get data. It talks about investigations and like mock investigations, and you have to find all the keys and all the hash values and various other bits and stuff like that. So, all quite cool. Then there's meant to be a campus week. So the whole idea is the next stage is once you've done the entry-level stuff, you'd actually go on a week's live face-to-face training. Because of COVID, that never happened. That was meant to happen before. So that's actually all been done virtually now. So that's all been done remotely. And that's another reason why the CTF ended up becoming a bigger part of it than we were expecting. Because the people who went on the campus week have been taught how to then host and support and facilitate other people doing the CTF in their organisations. The whole idea is that you're meant to be able to self-serve effectively. And then it starts getting onto some of the more complicated stuff. So some bits are law enforcement only. So I don't know how much I can talk about.
Don't get in trouble.
No. So there's, I mean, a lot of this stuff is actually on the website, but I can't remember if this is the one that I've actually got on my screen is one of the ones on the website, or whether it's one of the ones internally. I can't remember. I probably should have checked that first.
Yes.
But just to be on the safe side, I'm not going to talk about some of the bits that I can't talk about necessarily publicly. But there's all sorts of bits in there around kind of not just your standard stuff, but looking at advanced SQLite stuff, you're looking at mobile phone repairs, you're looking at scientific analysis and statistical analysis and things in various data sets. You're looking at online acquisition, tool testing kind of practices, and you're even looking at some malware investigation stuff and various other bits and pieces like that. So it's quite a comprehensive program. I think some of it is still being written by some of the academics who have been involved. But all the entry level stuff in the campus week, CTF, all that kind of, that's already there and ready to go pretty much, which is really cool.
It is cool.
So when it eventually gets released to everybody, it's basically a huge set of training that people can kind of go and do. I don't think it's necessarily going to replace a lot of the existing certification training. I don't think it's going to replace kind of with a lot of places where they've got ISO requirements for competency. I still think people are going to have to get sent on their training courses and various other things to get that competency. But it's a nice freebie to have that people can go and do and complete, to give them awareness of some of the kind of fundamentals and the best practices and things like that in a number of different areas. So it should be really nice to kind of to have access to eventually. In relation to the stuff that I was doing, one of the things that I did want to, I wanted to talk about, but also I've been asked to talk about it. This is entirely self-directed, given that they've been paying the bill. And they were like, can you please talk about that work you've done on one of the pods? So it's like, okay, fine, we can do that, which is why we're doing it now. But the tools course that I've built, I just wanted to kind of mention some of the things that are in there, I suppose. Just so people have a bit of awareness. So it's, like I say, it's all online. It's broken essentially down into three parts, three components. So the way I've split it up is part one is acquiring the data. Part two is importing and decoding the data. And part three is analysing the data.
Logical steps there.
Logical steps. I wanted to try and be logical.
Makes sense.
In one sense, in many senses. So, so some of the Formobile tools that are in there, there's a anti-forensic system, which I got sent a prototype of. It's a bit of hardware, which is quite cool. And it's actually looking at protecting forensic workstations and forensic tools from dangerous devices. From those devices that might do like a power surge or kind of, like killer USBs and all that kind of stuff. But it's specifically designed around kind of preventing some of those issues and just basically giving you almost like your right blocker. You can kind of be reassured that everything's okay. Yeah. This is another bit of kit that you can put between your kind of potentially malicious device and your forensic workstation. It won't prevent you doing any extractions or anything like that. It will just give you an indicator as to whether or not there's any danger, and if there are things like dangerous surges and things, it will actually prevent them being pushed through. So I was sent a prototype of this, very cool. There are videos of it being used on the site and things like that, and it goes into the detail as to how it works and operates and all that kind of stuff. So that's quite cool, quite interesting. And on that module, because I've broken this all down into modules, I've gone into other anti-forensic stuff, and we've talked about various things that you might encounter, kind of whether it's computer forensics, mobile forensics, whatever it is, kind of talking a lot about that, and the way people try to get around forensics or counter forensics or whatever. So that's all quite cool. There's a part of the Formobile project called Clone Acquire. I don't know who came up with the names, but it's
that's what it is.
And there's the way it's, you can see in the document, the way it's actually written is like a lot of capital letters, but there's like a lowercase letter in the middle. Yeah.
It's just strange.
I don't know why. I don't know. I'm sure there was a really good reason for that when it was being designed. And it's the same as the Cloud Extract. There's a Cloud Extract tool. Yeah. Exactly the same. Cloud X. Tract, and the cloud and the tract are in capitals and X is lower. I don't understand why, but I'm not paid to understand that bit. I just kind of
I'm sure some
went along with it.
I'm sure there'll be people shouting.
That's it.
That's what it is.
That's why. I'll probably get a load of angry emails now and messages, but never mind. So Clone Acquire, there was a load of research done. Obviously, clone devices aren't anything new. They're something they've been around for quite a long time. I know we used to teach it, many years ago, various clone devices and fake iPhones and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of research was done. A lot of trips to various countries where a lot of clone and fake devices are sold. A lot of those devices were purchased as part of the project and then research done on them. And so I think it was something like over 200 or 300 additional profiles for various different commonly found clone devices in various parts of Europe, because obviously it's a European funded project. They've now all been developed and integrated into various products and stuff. So the tool of choice for the Formobile project that for the consortium members was XRY. Yeah. Because MSAB were one of the big key parts of that. So a lot of those profiles are now already in XRY. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So that module we talk about clones and clone devices and what you can and can't expect and all that kind of thing. Then there's a tool, this Cloud Extract that I mentioned. I quite like that.
Yeah, you showed me today.
I was working on it today. I was working on a software simulation to incorporate into the training, so you can actually use the tool and very much interact with the interfaces for the different tools without having to download and install anything. So it's all done in the browser because it's simulated. So nice and straightforward. But that one is a tool that was written that allows you to effectively customize and use APIs to write your own Python scripts, and you can point the tool at the Python scripts, and it works with other forensic products to then be able to do your extraction of that.
Pretty cool stuff.
Pretty cool. And what I really like about it is that you're not purely relying on a vendor to release an update to a cloud API that changes overnight.
Because you can change it.
You can change it as long as you read the documentation, understand how the API works. It just goes for it. So I think that's pretty cool. So that's all up and ready. Importing and decoding the data as part 2. I really wanted to kind of get people to understand the difference between extracting data and decoding data. Because that's sometimes, especially people new to the industry, that's sometimes something that people do struggle with. And understanding that some of the tools will extract and decode, blah, and then other tools will extract and they'll decode on the fly or whatever, and everyone does it differently. Everyone's got their own reasons for the way that they do things. So there's a whole section on there about understanding the decoding process, and then Formobile came up with a few different tools, one called Dump Importer, one called Dump Decoder, and one called Dump Analysis Tool. A lot of, I don't want to say it, a lot of dumps.
A lot of dumps.
So we talk about all of those different tools and the way they work, the way they operate. Some of them are independent, some of them are built into existing tools. So that's all pretty cool, and that works quite closely with some of the new profiles that have been developed, and some of the analysis and research has been done. And there's been a lot of work been done on a lot of the new Android decoding through research as part of the project for a number of different consortium members. That's all been incorporated, for instance, into the Dump Decoder and things like that. So all pretty cool stuff. Then the analysing the data, as part of the course, there's kind of talk about data analysis in forensics in general. But then there was 3 other Formobile tools that were developed. One was a malware analysis platform. That is, I think it's still, at the moment, it's not for public release yet. It's still being developed by some of the developers, and I think it's academia. I think who built it.
There's so many strings to malware analysis.
So many. But the idea is, and I have seen it working. It's just at the moment it's an enclosed environment. So it's available, but you have to be on a certain network through VPNs and various other stuff. But it will eventually be publicly available for law enforcement. But the idea is that essentially it will plumb into various mobile forensic tools, and you can, rather than having to rely on kind of doing your own almost like a malware sweep of your files that you've extracted, it will work with the different file format containers and analysis bits that you've kind of got with some of the software, and it will you can effectively point your forensic tool at this malware analysis tool on the internet, and it will do an analysis of the data you send it. Again, I don't know exactly how it's going to look in the long run. I don't know what the plan is for it, but it is pretty cool. And it gives you a nice report, and you can build all these different malware analysis profiles and all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, that's pretty funky. There's a semantic analyzer, which I've put the thing context driven by intelligence. So again, that was an academic project that was done, and that's again plumbing into forensic tools, some semantic analysis of data sets. So being able to then go through, similar to how some of the tools, like for instance, Griffi. They've got Griffi Brain, I think, which we always used to call it Brian. It's like, Brian's working again.
So is it similar to what Apple's doing in the background?
So like with the photos to SQLite, where it's kind of analysing all the info and kind of creating databases of it. It's that semantic analysis, so providing context to what it finds. So doing the image recognition, textual recognition, kind of providing context to various chat threads and conversations and things like that by looking up various. And there's been a lot of research, a lot of work done on semantics and how to analyse it effectively and all that kind of stuff. So they did send me a load of papers to read that I asked for the background reading, and there was a lot of information there. I think I understood about a third of it.
You did well then, that's a third.
But there was a lot that went over my head, and I was like, wow, there's some clever people going on talking about this one. So the semantic analysis kind of talks about that, and then there's also some forensic kind of practical exercises people can do around like textual analysis and stuff as well. And then the last thing is what's been deemed the Formobile visualizer. Which I don't know again the grand plans for it, but at the moment it plumbs into Examine, and it effectively allows you to do a lot of analysis of building profiles of individuals and suspects or witnesses or victims and things like that, and you can effectively build up using the data that you've got, you can do these analysis maps and all that kind of stuff. Data, link analysis and things. It's kind of working alongside some of the existing products and tools to support those. And it's difficult to explain and contextualize, really, but it enriches all of that information, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, so there's loads of exercises that I've built in software simulations and various other stuff for the visualizer, because there's quite a lot to it. But yeah, there's some other tools as well that were being worked on. Again, I don't know what I can really talk about. Some of them. No,
so if Phil's not on the next episode, he talked too much.
I talk too much. Yeah. If you never see me again, they're probably going to be quite happy about that, actually, because I do talk too much. I do talk too much anyway, just about everything. But yeah, so there's a number of other tools. Because I don't want to overstep the mark. What I would suggest people do is visit the website.
Yes, which we will link.
Yes, we will link to, and you can have a look at the project. You look at the updates, how far it's come. So they've released a number of papers, some articles. One of the other things I was involved with which is just coming out soon, or at least it's being published soon, I think. It's with the publishers, but a bunch of us collaborated to write a book, and similar to the file analysis handbook.
Yeah. So Joshua James could do the Audible version.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. Yes, but yes, similar to Brian Carrier's book on file system analysis, we've written a file format handbook, and so there's a load of different commonly found file formats, but a lot of us going into quite a lot of depth in the analysis of it. The one that I was given to mostly write and support was Realm databases.
You love Realm.
Yeah. You know that situation where you kind of like, you go to uni and you study something, and then you never ever want to see it ever again.
Java for me, but yeah.
Yeah. I never ever want to see another Realm database in my life.
Well, thankfully, people appear to have listened to you, because apart from House Party, I can't say I've come across it.
I know. I was asked through it because they're like, oh, this is probably going to be quite big.
Yeah.
So I started doing all this work on it and can't find them anywhere.
No. Which
I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But if you want to have a read up on it, buy the book. It's hopefully going to be useful for people. There's all sorts of file formats that are in there, though. And
so when's the book going to be released?
I don't know. We had an update recently. I think it was yesterday I saw the update where the publishers, they've got the material, they're kind of happy with it. I think the final version's being produced, so it might be coming out sometime this year, I think. So that's exciting.
Yes.
It's very exciting. So that's going to be quite cool. And there's been a number of academic papers and stuff that have been released as well. And I've actually been supporting some of those actually directly as well. So I think they're on. Is it Elsevier? Elsevier?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the publishing.
Yeah.
There's a few of them on there. So that's all quite cool. One of the things that I did need to mention. And I'm going to say my favourite line. I'm conscious of time. So, because I know that a lot of people who are listening are going to be like, well, when can we access it? The training, the tools, all this stuff, this cool stuff that you're talking about. When can we access it? How is it going to be released?
Give me the free stuff.
Yeah, give me the free stuff. As part of the project, that's called the exploitation, and not in terms of we're going to exploit this, in terms of how can this be effectively released and managed long term, without necessarily imposing costs upon kind of organisations and people and things like that. So we've been working out how to do that with the training side of things, and the ECTEG, European Cybercrime Training and Education Group. We've been having conversations with them, or some of my Formobile colleagues have been having conversations with them recently, and to just basically discuss transitioning the materials and the content from where they currently are, which is a paid-for platform, onto, rather than kind of trying to find funding to keep that going, actually transferring all of the materials and the content onto the ECTEG's existing platforms. They already deliver a lot of free and paid-for training, and their platform is already there. If they're willing to adopt it and accept it, even if we have some kind of community contribution, or there's transfer of ownership of some of the materials, or whatever it's going to be, but they've been really positive, and they haven't necessarily said yes, definitely, or no, we're not going to do it. But they've been really, really positive as a partner for the project, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that they might actually allow us to migrate the content over to there.
That'd be good.
So if that happens, then that should then become more widely available to everyone to access. So that's good. That's the plan. That's the plan. I'm really conscious that I've been talking for a while.
And I think without being asked them, you've answered my questions.
Awesome. That's good. I like that. I like that.
But yeah, hopefully that's brought people up to speed. Certainly, I've learned some things today, and just there's been some great work that's been done.
It's been really good work. There's been a lot of uncertainty and kind of like sometimes a little bit of the what project? Who? What?
Well, COVID hasn't helped.
COVID really hasn't helped. But yeah, I think there's been a lot of good work and a lot of time and effort has been put in by a huge number of consortium members, and it's like we keep harking on about constantly through our pods. You know, we're very passionate about it. It's that kind of community support and giving back to the community. And that's what this project is all about.
Exactly.
And funded directly by the European Union with their funding. So. It's been really fun to be a part of it. It's been really enjoyable. It's been hard work at times, occasionally stressful. Occasionally stressful. But yeah, I just really hope that everything that we've produced for people is going to become available soon, so that it can start to make some difference. Make a difference to people and give them the training and education and the tools that they need. So if anyone has any questions or queries or thoughts or anything like that, by all means feel free to reach out. I might not have all the answers, but I can at least signpost you into the right places. So I'm more than happy to do that if you want. So
sounds good.
But there you go.
Conscious of the time, so
yes,
we'll thank our special guest. Round of applause. And from a serious note, should we lead on to a forensic faux pas?
I think that's a very good idea. Faux pas time. Okay.
Favourite part of the show.
Favourite part of the show. Faux pas number 10?
Number 10, yeah.
Oh, well, actually, no, there's more.
Yeah, because we've had a couple.
We've had a couple on some of them. And I will never forget how excited Heather was to tell us like 3.
Yeah, I know. And
I've got another one.
And we still need to get one from Alex.
We do. I did message him this week, but we will try and get that maybe for next time. But yes, right. So we have a confession.
We like confessions.
I do like confessions.
But we'll keep them anonymous.
There is a confession for this episode. Bear with me. There is a bit of a tale that's been told here. A bit of a story has been written. And I really need to overlay this with some music or something. But yes, an unfortunate incident, which might ultimately conclude in a kind of way, but I like the build-up. I think it was quite good. So, our faux pas for this episode 10. One glorious summer's day of recent years, There I was, enjoying a quiet morning in the forensics lab, working on a report. We've all been there.
Yeah.
I'd not long come to the end of a long-winded computer investigation related to CSAM material, and was pleased to be coming to the end of my work.
Yeah.
To that end, I was ready to take on a new job, and almost excited to get my teeth into something new and fresh.
Yeah, been there.
Mm-hmm. Incidentally, and I love that they've included this.
Yeah.
Incidentally, that evening I was also out on a date to a rather nice restaurant.
Nice.
That I'd managed to somehow book. It was going to be, or set to be, sorry, a good day.
Yeah.
At this point, I was thinking, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't got another stylus in.
No. Yeah, I can't make it. I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
So, on this particular day, operations were underway with various house searches and warrants. And so part of me was expecting a call to come in, whereby a device would undoubtedly be brought to the office with those famous words, "It's urgent."
And we want everything.
We want everything.
Yeah.
You know how it is. Every
Yeah.
job's urgent.
Yeah. They all want it yesterday.
They're all a priority.
Mm-hmm. Of course they are.
Which is the priority of priorities? That one.
Yeah.
Okay. Lo and behold, not long after the operations kick-off, a call comes in, whereby a senior officer on scene. This is the bit I don't believe.
Yeah.
Senior officer on scene.
Exactly. That wouldn't be on scene.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But a senior officer on scene has excitedly reported the seizure of a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
They proudly tell me how their officers had carefully and quickly packaged up the device in a Faraday bag and isolated it from any networks.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah, but no, good on them if they have.
They sound like they've been on a course.
Yeah.
And they learned about network isolation.
Mm-hmm.
It was critical to the case, so could we start looking at it immediately? I excitedly agreed and congratulated them on what sounded like a job well done. I agreed to wait for the device to be brought up. One by one, everyone started to clock off for the day, but still no device. We've all been there as well, haven't we?
Yeah.
I was clock watching now as time was ticking, and I needed to get away.
Had that day.
Yeah, that's definitely more important.
Yeah.
I call the teams on the ground and get reassured that it's on its way. It just got delayed.
Just like those Amazon deliveries that you waiting all day for.
Yeah, it's turned up at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
The tone of my reply was becoming slightly frustrated. But if it arrived quickly, then I could still do what I had to before clocking off the shift. Another hour passes.
Ooh.
I am now starting to worry about the time. But just as I'm about to call the team back to highlight the urgency, the device is eventually brought up to the office and, as described, is packaged in a Faraday bag. Okay, fair enough. We've got the device now. Brilliant. In fact, it was so well packaged in this bag that it more resembled something you'd receive from Santa than a seized mobile phone. Fair enough. I asked how they had isolated the device, and they said that they had simply placed the device in a Faraday bag as they seized it in a rush.
Yeah.
I was less impressed with this approach, but equally, it was manageable. We had a Faraday box, so I could do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Fair. I did the relevant paperwork before placing the device into the Faraday box and began to get to work, painstakingly stripping away layers of wrapping and material and trying to get through to the phone inside. It sounds like a pass the parcel, you know? It's just like layers and layers of stuff.
A rubbish present that you don't want.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a cracker toy that comes out at Christmas or something.
Yeah.
You know? Eventually, 20 minutes from delivery of the device, I could begin to see a screen. How well was this wrapped?
Yeah.
Finally, I thought, just a few more actions to go, and I get the device on and working, retrieving the finished product first thing in the morning. So basically, I think it's thinking I can get it on.
Yeah, get it started.
Maybe some kind of dark coloured box.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. And then let it, we leave it for the morning. Fair enough. I could see that the device still had a SIM card inserted and was not at all isolated. So it was a good thing I had the Faraday box, which was doing its job well.
Yeah.
Excellent. However, at that moment, it suddenly dawned on me. In my rush, I had forgotten to put a paperclip into the Faraday box to retrieve the SIM card. In my desperation to sort out the device, and I think at this point they must have been clock watching as well. With the
they always get on their date.
Exactly. Yeah. Without thinking, rushed to grab a paperclip, and as if in a hazy stupor of foolishness, opened the box and threw the paperclip inside, completely forgetting that the device wasn't isolated and could connect to the network. So all that hard work, just open the box.
Yeah, just throw that paperclip inside.
Who needs a Faraday box anyway? Thankfully, nothing malicious was waiting for the device. No wipe commands or anything. I sighed a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
However, I had to admit my error in my notes was a laughing stock of all my colleagues. Mm-hmm. And to top it off, I was late for the date, which didn't go well.
So, opening statement, set to be a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much. But at least nothing happened to the end.
At least the evidence was okay. But I feel more gutted for about the date.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Exactly.
I mean, jeez.
I'd like to know what restaurant it was as well.
Yeah, I know. And where?
Yeah.
No idea.
No. Clearly fancier places where that you and I would go to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No comment. So, on that note, that cheery note at the end.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone listening.
Yeah, and our special guest.
Our special guest.
Yeah.
I'll put my guest hat back on. You're very welcome. I hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully it was informative. There was plenty of news in there, even if the Formobile thing wasn't for you.
Yeah.
But
hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next month.
We will indeed.
We've hopefully got a couple of special guests lined up.
We have. So we're kind of looking forward to those, aren't we?
Yeah.
But as always, thank you for everyone who retweets us, who kind of comments and sends us really lovely messages and takes the mickey out of us. And, lots of people now that we're connected with, having a laugh with. It's great. Please continue to politely abuse us. It's fine. Yeah, it's but thank you ever so much for everyone and all the support. Please, we love it. We really appreciate you all. And if you've got, as always, any thoughts, comments, feedback, whatever, any faux pas, please feel free to send them in.
Yeah, and you've just stitched yourself up, haven't you?
I have just done myself.
Because the email address for Chewing the Fat podcast is podcast.ctf@gmail.com. Smooth as you like.
Smooth as a hedgehog's spines.
And we will let people get back to their day jobs.
Yes.
But thank you all.
As always, thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.